So I'm just doing a little test live stream here. Okay, this is weird because it won't recognize this headset. Well, it will recognize the speakers, but not the microphone. So I put my Corsair set in and it works. And yes, I don't have a hat on and I'm bald headed. And this is a totally different view of my studio than you guys have ever seen. I'm on my backup setup. I know it's really weird, but hopefully everything sounds good. I'm using this headset that I'm not going to use over here. Hey, Mario, how's everything sounding? How's the audio? I know it's not going to be as good as my big setup. Dude, I am exhausted. I am freaking exhausted. I'm not a morning person, and I did 2 live streams, one of them being over 5 hours long, one of them being 2.5 hours long, of this confirmation hearing bullshit. And I'm not a morning person. I've worked nights forever. Normally, when the sun's coming up, my ass is going to bed. But yeah, I'm on my backup setup. You can see my main setup is there. This is a view that you guys don't get, but Ray's supposed to come over tomorrow, and we're supposed to start up a podcast. And I figured, well, let's grab out all the tech and put it on my backup setup. Like I'm using this weird ass webcam. It's a laptop webcam. Well, yeah, I was wondering that for a long time because of the safety aspect. But with that humongous cold snap that's hitting, man, Monday they're talking a high of like in the teens. Ain't nobody want to be out sitting to see a president and vice president sworn in when it's going to be windy and in the teens. It's supposed to be like 15-mile-an-hour wind Monday. So say, if the temperature's 15 degrees at 15-mile-an-hour wind, yeah, all those old ass people there will be ice cubes. But yeah, the webcam I'm using, this is weird. It's called a Logitech C615. I've never even heard of this brand. I've only seen one for sale on Facebook Marketplace. But what makes it a laptop webcam is the cord on it. The cord on it's only like a foot and a half long. So like I couldn't use it on my main setup because it does have a 4-foot cord. It's I went onto the website, the Logitech website, looked at it, and it's designed for laptops, which totally makes sense. I bought this at Goodwill too. Every time me and my wife go to Goodwill, I take her little Samsung Chromebook wannabe computer thing with us, and so if it's anything that I need to see if it works, I just plug it into that, and You know, Windows, well, at least Windows 10, I think Windows 11 has it too. There's just a camera button. And if you plug any camera into it, you can see if the camera works. But yeah, this is a view that you guys don't get. And again, everyone, you want a great office chair? The video's on my channel with the link to the Amazon page. If you're a big dude like me, be nice to yourself when your tax money comes in. Go spend the $175 or whatever that is. Get you an office chair. Just go on to my channel and look for office chair. And if you're the type that hates assembling stuff because you know it looked like a 5-year-old threw it in a box, that's not. That was assembled by someone like me that put blue Loctite on every bolt, made sure that the tool that you have to assemble a chair with wasn't a IKEA piece of shit. Like it's actually a tool, everything individually labeled, and the kicker of the whole thing, there's 2 different sizes of bolts that go for that chair. Well, it came with a spare of each size. I mean, come on now. A company doesn't have to do that. Because, I mean, think about it. If it's, you know, say 5 cents for those 2 bolts and they sell 10,000 chairs, well, that price is going to add up. But yeah, hopefully everything sounds good. And oh, guys, if you want a good headset, now I made a video in the past and it's done really good. This is the one from Dollar Tree. Now, at Dollar Tree, it's $5. It works. I mean, it's not the best sounding, the best audio quality, but it works. Walmart is selling the same one, the exact same one for $30. No. This is a $5 headset. Now, the headset that I have on is, I think it's $65 or $70 on Amazon. It's the Corsair HS55 wireless. And it works good. It's over the air, it's comfy. I did have a previous set of Corsair HS45s. They were wired, and I thought how they were wired was weird. The cable came out of this side. Well, this is my right hand. Everybody that's ever put a computer on a desk puts the computer on the right side. So, say if you got a big ass desk and your PC is sitting way off, you're already losing a 1.5 foot of distance by the cable having to go around you to get to it. And the cable is only like 5 feet long. I ran those for 2 years and I bought them used. I bought these used. Now I know a lot of people, their Facebook marketplace might not be as awesome as mine is. But man, here in the Phoenix, Arizona area, if you can't find it on Facebook Marketplace, it doesn't exist. Like say you want a special business computer from 2010. Well, there's probably someone on there selling one. Like there's a person that's selling a little trailer that he made for his dogs out of a PT Cruiser that had a blown up engine. I mean, just random stuff. So I'm gonna hop off of here. I was only supposed to I just wanted to come on to see if everything worked. So tomorrow, guys, on the channel, I don't know what Ray and I are going to talk about. His old online name was Fat Man Prepper, and then now it's No Quarters. He lives just like probably 4 miles from me. See, everybody thinks Mesa's small. No, 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 no. Mesa is the biggest suburb in the U.S. Like, Mesa's big. And what's funny? Everybody's like, why do you always say East Mesa? Because me and my wife have showed you there's a distinct line when you take off from our place and you start driving west, meaning you're going to drive into Mesa proper. There's a distinct difference. East Mesa is all clean, no trash. You get over to Mesa and you start seeing trash. You start seeing people, wanting to hang out in their front yard with living room furniture. But yeah, so this is all set up, ready to work. And again, everybody, I've said this numerous times. Get backups. If I wouldn't have had this computer right here, my old Logitech, that's been beat to hell and modified and everything. If I wouldn't have had that, when my main computer did that issue, I wouldn't have been able to live stream, make videos, or anything. And this is still if I had a regular mic, this is still a very capable setup. Very capable. I mean, I got two monitors. Let me see if I can bring this out. I got the vertical one and that. Now, let me show you something because I get asked all the time, what the fuck's up with the vertical monitor, man? It looks weird. Why? Because it says Dell sideways. Put a piece of fucking tape over it. Oh, this mic does sound good. Okay, I'll show you. So here, I'm just gonna share the screen here. So let me show you the awesomeness of a vertical monitor. Yes, I know this looks weird. Ooh. So up here and on your YouTube channel where it says top chat and you got the X and stuff, you got these three dots. Well, click on those. And then you will see it says pop out chat. It'll be a community moderation activities, timestamp, all this stuff. We'll click on pop out chat. And then it will pop the chat out into a different window. Now I'm going to have to show this totally different here. You can see that now my chat is a different window. Huh. And then you click on it. Let me make sure that I'm still live here. Okay. Now you can see the chat. is in its own window. And a lot of people don't realize one thing here, because I totally found this on mistake. Down here in the corner, you can see that you can't see it. Well, I was moving my mouse around and I saw something flash. 'Cause I was like, oh, what the hell was that? We click on that, and that maximizes StreamYard. And then to exit it, you just hit exit full screen. So now let's go in here into the settings. I didn't know this was going to be a tutorial on how to set up stuff, but I get asked all the time. You see right here, if you come into here normally, you're into the camera one. Click on general and you will see appearance, light and dark mode. Put it on dark mode. Because you all know that I went through the whole cataract eye surgery. And I asked a bunch of questions. Because as soon as I said online that I was going to have cataract eye surgery, I got flooded with a bunch of questions by other people that were terrified of having eye surgery. So I went in and asked, and I told my eye doctor exactly what I did. Is I posted online about me having this surgery, and I'm like, I guess people are freaked out, and I'm like, I got a whole list of questions here, and he goes, well, let's do it. And I'm like, would you be willing to do it on camera? And he's like, no. And I was like, damn, because I wanted to do it all on my camera. But I'm like, what's the percentage of people that have to have cataract eye surgery? And he said about 90%. So yeah, you're probably gonna have to have cataract eye surgery. Now I'm like, how can I prolong, not having to get cataract eye surgery? And he's like, wear really good polarized sunglasses. He goes, every time you walk out the door, you should have those sunglasses on. And he's like, especially if you live where it snows. Because he goes, it can even be a cloudy day, but if there's a couple inches of snow on the ground, it's really bright. And the polarized sunglasses, the ones that are like mirrored tint, whether they're mirrored blue, pink, silver, polarized sunglasses. Look at the Drost effect. What you talk about, unknown? But yeah, he was like, don't have bright lights in your face. Period. And I'm like, bright lights. And he's like, well, you said you're a YouTuber and you make videos, so you've obviously got lights in front of you. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so you got that bright light in your face, however long you're on camera. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and what jobs have you had previously? And I'm like, I was a truck driver. So he goes, outside. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but I got these really dark pair of sunglasses. And he's like, they're not polarized. He goes, it helps, but the polarized sunglasses have a filter that blocks out like one of the lights. And I'm like, I asked him how long he'd been doing this, and he said about 10 years. And I'm like, what have you seen in the last 10 years? He goes, a rise in people being younger, happen to get cataract surgery. And I'm like, what do you think's the cause of that? And he's like, cell phones and social media. He goes, specifically, people going to bed and being on their phone, scrolling on their phone with their phone right here in a dark room with the screen lit up. Unknown, I'm still not knowing what you're talking about. I'm on my backup setup. So I know this probably looks really weird. Ray and I, Batman Prepper, No Quarters, whatever his channel is now, are wanting to jump back into doing the podcast. Now we won't be able to go right back into the podcast channel. The Broken Angry Fat Man podcast, but we could just do it on my channel. But yeah, that's how my room is decorated. And yes, I know I need to measure that off and get everything more centered. But yeah, that's my background. And I mean, there's flags everywhere. Basically, you can't come into my house and open your eyes and not see a flag. Right inside the front door, I have my big 10-foot long flag. My giant one that's 5 by 10. It's hanging on the wall. The only wall it would fit on. Yeah, that's why I can't use the software OBS, because it does that weird infinity thing. But yeah, we're gonna start the podcast back up. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I think it's gonna be Saturdays. He texted me earlier and he goes, "So what time tomorrow?" I'm like, "What time for what?" Because I just got up because I've been doing morning live streams. Covering the confirmation hearings. Which, thank God, the one this morning was only 2.5 hours long. But here's something that I gotta say. Pam Bondi, Trump's pick for whatever spot. She's 59 years old. This Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, she's 53. And I know that all those cameras in there isn't any kind of filter or anything on any of that. So if you look good on those cameras with that harsh lighting, then you look good just generally. Bonnie and Cash are going to team up too. It's going to be awesome. But there's so many people when it was announced earlier that Trump was going to have his inauguration inside. They were like, why? And I'm like, it's called the weather. You really want the president and the vice president to be out and being sworn in when it's supposed to be like 15 degrees? I don't know how they're going to have this whole inauguration thing with it being that freaking cold. Like Carrie Underwood's supposed to sing, Kid Rock's supposed to sing. Yeah, I know what you meant, but how are they supposed to do all this when it's this freaking cold? And I figured out why it takes 2.5 months to get the inauguration. Because when that was set up, it was set up when everybody was still riding around a horse and buggy. So it took, 2.5 months to get everything going. My thing is December 1st, we have the presidential inauguration. It doesn't need to be January 20th, December 1st. And also, because Biden's been passing all this stuff to block everything that Trump wants to do. I think that if you're a sitting president and you're no longer going to be president because a new president was voted in, then you or your administration can't do anything. Anything you try to do will be null and void. Just no. Because if you haven't heard, I made a video about it. It didn't get many views. But if you haven't heard, you know how Trump's like, getting everybody back to work, stop this at home work. Well, Biden or somebody on his team was like, no, we wanted, still have people work from home. So he signed a law or an executive order or something where all these people for the next 5 years. Yeah, he's a lame duck. So why is he able to do anything? But he signed this bill or law or executive order or whatever for all these people to still be able to work at home for the next 5 years. Now, how many people am I talking about? Over 49,000 people that are paid for by our taxpayer dollars that are still working at fucking home. That pisses me off. That pisses me off big time. All right, since we seem to have this going on here, I'm going to grab me a cigarette. But yeah, over 49,000 people that do something for our government. Why? I don't know what they're fucking doing. Over 49,000 people are still going to be able to work from home. And in the video, I'm like, I asked 2 questions. And of course, for whatever reason, nobody wants to comment on my channel. I asked them, I'm like, put a 1 in the comments if you were a essential worker. Because isn't it funny how, oh dang it, I didn't grab a tube. Hang on. But isn't it funny how we went from, oh my God, these essential workers are saving the country, to Yeah, we don't fucking care anymore. Yeah. Thank you, unknown. All my family were essential workers. All of them. Because my wife's a nurse, my daughter's a nurse, I'm just gonna call him my son-in-law, my daughter's boyfriend. They've been together for like 7 years. He worked at Midas, and people still need to get their cars fixed. Now he's a security guard, which I always laugh. And he's like, "Bro, what's so funny about me being a security guard?" And I'm like, "Bro, you got a beard, long hair, you got a Harley, you got Harley tattoos on you, and your patrol car is parked in front of your house." Yeah, there's a Toyota Corolla, like base model with a light bar on the top. His patrol car, his security and stuff on the side of it. And I'm all like, "Oh my God, bro." And he's like, "Well, job's a job, man." And I'm like, "I know, but bro." Yeah. It's like, respect my authority. But he needed a job to where he was working nights. And because him and my daughter finally realized that having a kid, unless you want to pay an expensive price for daycare, you got to come up with somebody that can watch your kid. And I'm like, here's an idea. What my parents did. One of my parents worked night shift. And of course, my daughter was like, "But then we won't be able to see each other." Yeah, you will. Everything will just be done on the weekends. I'm like, if you guys want to have alone time so you could he and she, it'll be done on a weekend. Sunday will be known as he and the she and day. Hey, Black Watch. Well, I said during Trump's first administration that he talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk, meaning that he wasn't a big enough asshole. You want to see somebody be a humongous asshole? If they were elected president, elect my ass president. Ha ha. Trump is a puppy dog compared to how I would be. Because I don't care who the fuck I piss off. I piss my wife off. I piss my daughter off. I don't give a fuck. Because I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Period. Why? Because feelings change. And also, you stab me in the back one time, I will publicly out you for doing it. And then there's no forgive and forget. No, fuck that. I've heard people say, "Well, people change," and I'm like, "Yeah, trust me, I know." I used to have all these friends back when I was in my early 30s, and then I started having health problems. And boy, people don't want to be friends around someone that's got health problems because it makes them think about their own health problems, and they don't want to think about that, especially when it was their biggest size wise friend, the one that never got sick, the one that was always go, 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 and now they get fucking sick. They don't like that. It makes them start looking at themselves. And I tell everybody, and I know men hate to hear this, and a lot of women, but go see your fucking doctor. Go get a fucking checkup at least once every 6 months. And if you're my age, 50, it's the two things that men our age don't want to do: the colonoscopy, which everybody's got to do, and the whole prostate exam. But, you know, you need to take care of your health. And yes, I'm saying that sitting there smoking a cigarette. Trust me, if I could quit smoking, I would. Yeah. And I was on I hopped on a live stream this morning. It's a channel called God's Signpost. It's a basically like a morning church channel. And he was saying that he he was a never slow down type of person. And what ended up happening? He had a heart attack. Yeah, just like me. I was a truck driver and I managed a bar. I was living on about 3 hours sleep and a whole shitload of those terrible for you energy drinks. I mean, I bet I would go through 3 or 4 monsters a day. That's on top of, a half a pot of coffee in the morning. But don't do energy drinks. I've even slacked off on a coffee. And, by going to the doctor, you're going to get blood work done. He's going to test you for everything under the sun. I didn't know I was a type 2 diabetic till I had full blood work done. Now, I've had blood work done in the past, but it was always they were looking for something. Well, my new primary care doctor was like, "Have you ever had a full blood work done?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." And he goes, "All right, have they ever taken like 3 vials of blood?" And I'm like, "No." And yes, I know smoking kills. I wish to God I could fucking quit. But I'm also, now this is funny. My cardiologist told me to live a stress free life. And I'm like, bro, I run a news and politics YouTube channel. How the hell can I lead a stress free life? My life is all about stress. And he's like, yeah, I understand because the federal government. I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm making videos and live streams about our stupid federal government. But I'm like, I try to live stress free. Like my wife and my daughter get totally stressed out with somebody's following them. Like when they're driving. Why is this car on my ass? And I'm like, who the fuck cares? If you're following my car, what you're doing is you're looking at my YouTube channel name. Like, hey, look at this. I got the YouTube play button that says Broken Patriot about that wide on the back of my car. You're looking at advertising. Change your channel to about potting plants. Well, Black Watch. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so the whole unless I want to plant a cactus, there ain't much that's gonna make it here. And I do have 2 other channels. I have a cooking channel that once I figure out and be able to get the money to do it how I want to do it, I'm going to start that back up. My kitchen is impossible to cook in because the stupid people that designed this apartment complex decided to put the stove right up next to the wall. So, like, if you're standing in front of the stove, there's a wall right here. Well, that's where I need to put the damn camera. I made one cooking video, and it took me 30 minutes to figure out how to get a halfway decent angle for the camera. And my bonus channel is called Explore Arizona, where it's an Arizona travel channel. Because so many people think that Arizona is just sand and desert. Like, no. Arizona is a very diverse state. Yeah, we have the Sonoran Desert, which is where I live. But then we have Flagstaff, which is 8,000 feet up in the mountains. All this crazy shit. And people were shocked the first time I did a driving and talking video, and that there's little mountains all over the place. And yes, they're called mountains. I know it's not like what people think of mountains, but we have South Mountain, which runs all the way across the southern part of Phoenix. Right out here by where I live is the Superstition Mountains. And if you want to look some crazy stuff up, start looking videos up on Superstition Mountains in Arizona. You will go down a rabbit hole, and it's just weird. But anyway, guys, I've been live for 42 minutes. Thank you for coming in. We're going to be doing a podcast tomorrow. I don't know what about. It's going to be me and Ray, aka Fat Man Prepper. Now he's no quarters. He's going to come over, and we're going to do a live stream about something. And then Sunday I will be covering the inauguration, which if you guys haven't heard, is going to be inside because there's a Siberian polar vortex hitting the country, and the high Monday in Washington D.C. is supposed to be in the teens, which isn't good for a lot of our old ass elected officials to be out in. And that's why my happy ass will sweat my happy ass off in the summertime so I don't have to freeze my ass off in the wintertime. Because Monday, the high is supposed to be 65 here and the low's 35. And yeah, 35 will be freezing for us. But it's not going to be the high in the teens. Screw that. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. This was only supposed to be a test live stream, a test that went for 50 minutes long. But thank you all for hanging out. And as always, peace out.